poetic song in itself. And speaking of poems, up next we will have the former President of the United States of America, Mr. Jimmy Carter. Is the President with us? He is. Very good. Now if I can hit the right button, we'll be in you. He's on. Mr. President, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Judge. It's great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, sir. You are I have to admit, I've been doing talk radio now for a little bit over a year, and you are my very first president.
Well, that's great. Well, the first time I've talked to you as well.
Yes, sir. Now, you've written a book on poetry, which is, I guess, in reviewing it, I came to the conclusion here, you are one of now of only 3 presidents who has written poetry, John Quincy Adams and Abraham Lincoln.
Well, that's true. The book came out last January, and to everybody's amazement, it was on the bestseller list of the New York Times for 6 weeks, which is unbelievable for a poetry book. But now, of course, I've come out with the audio tape, so folks that don't like to read can listen to the tape.
Or maybe folks that can't read.
Well, that's true. And, sometimes when you're jogging along or when you're riding in a car, it's nice to have a tape to listen to, and I think this is a really good one.
Absolutely. Mr. President, I got to tell you, in going through your biography, you and I are a lot alike.
Well, that sounds very complimentary to me.
Well, I mean, we have both done a number of jobs, in our lifetime, which I find that's the essence and the key to staying young, is to do many, many things. How do you feel about that?
Well, sometimes some people have a hard time keeping a job.
True. Yeah, that may be true, too. That may be my case also.
Well, the last big job I had, I was involuntarily retired because of the 1980 election.
Sure.
It's opened up a new life for me, and I've really enjoyed the years since the White House.
Yeah, how hard is it? I mean, for me personally, I don't know if I could ever sit down and write a poem. I don't think I have it in me. How hard is it to write poetry?
Well, it's been one of the most difficult things I've ever done. When I got serious about poetry writing, I've liked poetry all my life, and I used to write rose and love poems and different things when I was underneath the water in a submarine.
Mm-hmm.
But about 6 years ago, I got serious about it and decided I'd learn how to do it. I had 2 wonderful professors at the University of Arkansas who gave me help with it and were my instructors. And they gave me textbooks to study. And then I was kind of slowly liberated. At first I was very tight about writing poems, but later I became more at ease with it. But I found that I could say things in a poem that I couldn't say even face-to-face with my own wife or my own children. And so it's been kind of a revelation for me.
Yeah, a means of a new type of communication then.
Well, it has been, and when you're searching for just exactly the right word or exactly the right phrase, you kind of explore the inner feelings of your heart or mind much more than you do writing another kind of book or writing an essay or a speech.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Mr. President. How is Habitat for Humanity doing these days? I ask that question because I have a very dear, close friend that works for you here in the Twin City area.
Well, we're doing great with Habitat. As you know, a few years ago we came to Milwaukee and built some houses. And last year we were in an Indian reservation in South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
In a few months we're going to Los Angeles to the Watts area to build 40 homes. And next year we go over to Hungary. It's the 1,000th birthday of the nation of Hungary. So every year we go a different place, and my wife and I join other volunteers, and we build a number of homes. We built the entire house in just 1 week, and this is a very exciting part of our lives.
Sure. Let me does experience count in this? If someone wants to, work for Habitat, I mean, can they have no experience in carpentry and all that, and can they learn on the job?
You can have no experience. When Rosa first began, she couldn't even do anything more than hang a picture on a wall. But she has now learned how to put down flooring and erect sidewalls and put on roof trusses and shingles and install windows and doors and put down baseboards and lay carpet, install cabinets. So, we've learned together over the last 10 or 12 years how to build all kinds of houses. But we have newcomers every year who join us who've never built anything, but it's one of the gratifying experiences of our lives.
I'll bet. Now I got to get to the real down nitty-gritty stuff, Mr. President. A lot of people don't realize that you were a tremendously big wrestling fan, were you not?
I was. My mother in particular, my mother every Friday night would go over to Columbus, Georgia to watch the wrestling.
Sure.
And she would search around the town and get somebody to carry her over when she got too old to drive herself.
Uh-huh.
But Mother was the loudest screamer and the most avid fan of wrestling that I've ever seen. So when I began to run for public office on occasion, I would take my mother over there, and the owner of the arena would be nice enough to say, "Now here tonight we have Miss Lillian's son, Jimmy, who hopes to be governor of Georgia." And the folks would clap a few times, and then we'd watch the wrestling. But you can't imagine how excited my mama was about wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And, well, it's a great entertainment for people, and especially down in the Georgia area. I know it used to be Georgia Championship Wrestling, which was very, very big down there. And, of course, now Mr. Ted Turner has it, and it's more of an international type thing. But wrestling will always be around. And that was, I always remember the photo, I believe. Weren't you putting a headlock on who did you put the headlock on?
I think it was the Angel or somebody like that.
It was a masked wrestler, Mr. Wrestling, I think.
I can't remember which one it was, but it was a good campaign photograph for me, because as you know, millions of wrestling fans, and to see me with a hammerlock on or headlock on one of the famous ones got me a lot of votes.
Well, good. Mr. President, thank you very much for your time this morning. It's been my pleasure to talk to you. I know you got a busy schedule ahead of you. Good luck on the book of poetry. And
I hope everybody will buy the audio tape and listen to it.
Very good.
Say, Mr. President?
Yes.
I'm Jesse's producer, and I do have one poem. I just want you, since you're an expert, you can maybe help me out here.
All right.
I wrote this off the air now. There once was a president named Carter who came on the air to barter. Pushing his book with Jesse and Rook, there is no former president smarter.
Right on.
Is that good?
Is there hope for him?
I think you're another Shakespeare.
Say happy birthday to your son, Chip, and best of luck to you.
Well, thanks a lot. I just talked to Chip on his birthday in Khartoum, Sudan. He said the temperature is 115 degrees.
Oh.
But he's trying to hold together a ceasefire that we negotiated a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Well, best wishes to you all, and you listeners.
And also, I know we weren't supposed to talk about politics, but would you accept the General Secretary job of the UN if you're offered?
No, I would not.
You would not?
I'm having too much fun talking to Jesse and all your writing poems and climbing mountains and negotiating ceasefires. I think I'll stay where I am.
I agree with you. Thank you very much, President Carter.
It's been a pleasure, Jesse. Good luck to you on your new program.
Thank you. Bye-bye. There we got it. President Jimmy Carter himself. The first president on the Jesse the Body program. All right. We'll be back after this.